welcome to today's episode. It's all about kind of a public service announcement for you. So, first of all, I am in Bali, one of my favorite places on planet Earth. I do a retreat here every year. I bring people over from all over the place to this beautiful place. So if you're hearing a lot of sounds in the background, most of them are natural sounds, but hopefully you can hear me okay. Today I wanted to talk about this notion of waiting, okay? Because being a coach, being a healer, I offer different programs, and people can work with me. And oftentimes there is interest, but then that resistance comes up. We all have this resistance towards change. We're actually biologically wired to resist change. I talk about this a lot in my work. Your brain, the primal part of your brain, the old part, the oldest part, it almost retracts from change, because when you are a caveman or a cavewoman, which our brains have not evolved fully past that yet. Our brains are more apt to be able to handle higher level thinking and consciousness, but we still have a part of our brain that's very old. And when you were a caveman or a cavewoman, if you changed too much, the tribe would just kick you out and you wouldn't survive, because, it was a dangerous world back then. And so you still have this part of your brain. And so anytime we get this hint that we want to try something new, that's your higher self talking. That's your soul, your spirit, whatever word you use there, talking to you, saying, hey, this would be a good idea, or I really think we should try this. And so we get that little spark, and so we're like, ooh, I'm interested. And then if you wait too long, the old brain, the ego, the subconscious mind kicks in, and it says, wait. I don't think we should be doing this because of this, and this, all these reasons, right? So you have to, number one, you have to act fast, to override the ego and to stay with your higher self. I tell people, if you're following your heart, even if what you do doesn't work out the way that you think it should, quotation marks around the should, you're still going to be getting something from that experience or that thing. Because when you're following your heart, sometimes we do things that on the other side could look like a mistake, but we actually ended up learning so much that you just, maybe saved yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars, by doing this one thing instead of something else. So we can't see that far into the future to know the reasoning behind what happens, right? So if we act fast with that higher self thinking, then, and following our heart, and staying out of fear, right? Because fear just ruins it. It just ruins us. And it keeps us playing small. So I work with a lot of women. Not that this video is just video and podcast, if you're listening to it on a podcast, is just for women, because it's not. It's for men too. But I work with a lot of women, and as a woman myself, I can speak to the fact that I think a lot of us, men too, have a hard time saying yes to ourselves, investing in ourselves, and really making those decisions that matter into the future, right? So we second guess ourselves a lot. We don't think it's the right decision. Anytime you open the door to that, you're letting in all of your fears, your doubts, and your ego to get involved with a decision that really your soul always knows the answer to. Okay, your soul knows the direction and the path you need to take. It could just take you longer than you need to, or maybe there's other ways that your soul shows you later. But the point being here, if you listen to that voice, if you follow that intuition, you're going to be on the right path. And it's our sense of what our expectations are that muddy things up and cause us to suffer. So my question to you is, how long are you going to keep putting off what you want? Okay, because I'm going to reiterate here, sometimes I repeat when I talk because your subconscious sometimes won't even let you hear certain things. It just like shuts down and it's like, nope. So we have to put things on repeat in order for that information to get through the pesky subconscious mind, okay? So how long are you going to put off what it is you want? Really sit with that question. It's not a very fun question to sit with because it requires you making a decision that may feel scary. In order to get what we want, we have to do things differently than we've done in the past. That requires us to change. There's that word again. Going back to the beginning of the video, the primal brain doesn't like change. It likes autopilot. Autopilot is safe. This is why everybody talks about get out of your comfort zone. So autopilot is safe. Change is not safe to the subconscious mind. But it's the only way that we're going to move from point A to point B because everybody knows the saying. Doing the same thing over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. So a lot of people that I work with, it's like they want to dip their toe in, like, ooh, I just want to, I want to think about it, or it sounds like a good idea, but I don't know if I'm ready, ooh, you know, and it's like, when are you going to just step up, dive in, and just go for what you want? And trust yourself. You've been guided towards something, whether it's a new workout program, or a coach, or a healing program, or, you know, a new lifestyle choice, like a different way to eat, different, you know, being more environmentally friendly. I don't know, whatever that thing is. Writing a book, you know, starting a new project, starting your own business, right? We get these hits like, ooh, that would be a really good idea. And then we recoil backwards because we're like, oh, that's so scary. How am I going to do that? When are you going to just step up and do it? Because another thing we do as human beings, especially women, is we are waiting to be rescued. Or we're waiting until we're like skinny enough, happy enough, young enough, you know. Sometimes the excuse is I'm too old, or sometimes the excuse is I've always been this way, I'm not going to change. Like, my family was this way, what makes me think I can be any different? Right? We make up all these excuses. And, or worse, we blame other people for why we're where we are. And I am guilty of doing that in my past before I did my healing. You know, of blaming my mom, blaming, you know, people around me, ex-boyfriends, whatever, because that was easier. It was easier to make an excuse than to make a change. So I really want you to think about two things. Number one, what are the excuses that you're holding on to that are stopping you from taking that step forward? And then number two, when are you going to start to make steps towards going after what you want? More joy, more peace, more health, more abundance, a new career, whatever it is. When are you going to start? And you really just need to take that first step. You know, an exercise you can do is to just sit and do a brain dump. What are some of the things I need to do towards this goal? You know, who do I need to call? What do I need to research? Etc., etc. Do that, and then take one of those steps, and every day or 3 times a week, take something off that list and just decide, I'm going to do that this week or today. So you just have to start, but stop making the excuses. Stop resisting what you know in your heart to be true. Stop resisting what you know in your heart to be true. Your heart is where the spirit resides, your higher self, your soul. And so it's telling you what you need to do. You just aren't listening to it, if this is resonating with you. Some of you are listening to it and you're making changes. Okay, so think that's all. I'm going to leave you with that. I talk about everything that we talked about here in my 12-week Empowered Women program. I also work with people privately. All those links will be below this video or podcast. And I thank you so much for tuning in today. And, leave a comment below if you're watching this on YouTube of what I just said. What's that first step you're going to take so that you can stop living in a place that doesn't feel good to you and then wondering why you're there. Okay, so we got to take ownership. We have to take ownership that we got ourselves in this position, whatever it is, and that we have the power to take ourselves out of it. To get out of victim mode, okay? That's where we're making excuses. That's where we're living in a poor me mentality. And just start taking a step forward towards what you want. Start owning your worth. You deserve this. So thank you so much for listening today, and I hope to see you again really soon.